We're going to talk to JoEllen Sanders now on our 8:30 High Beam from HARCATUS Tri-County Community Action Organization because you're dressed for Christmas, so that's what made me think we had to play that song and get that done for you. So welcome in.
It is. Good morning. How are you?
I am good, but I'm not as good as your hair bow.
I know. I'm all Christmas and decked out for you.
Very nice. Very good. Well, thanks for coming in through the inclement weather and making it in here.
Rain instead of snow. I kind of will take that, though.
Yeah, I certainly will, too, so thanks. But even though the calendar says winter's not until next week, we've had a couple of tastes of that, and which brings us to one of the really big things that's going on right now with HARCATUS, and that's the Winter Crisis Program. So explain that, and is it too late to get some help?
So Winter Crisis Program started November 1st, and it will run all the way through March 31st. It is truly meant to be that emergency program. If you are in disconnect, if you need to transfer your services, if your bulk fuel heating service is less than 25%, we need you to call the office.
Yeah.
Let's get this application rolling. Let's get things scheduled and planned so that we can keep your heat on this winter.
Because that's not going to make it through the winter.
It's not. 25% is definitely not going to last you long, and especially if we get any of the snow they're calling for next week. We want to be able to, the whole point of that program is to keep you warm in these cold months that are coming up. So to be able to provide, I brought my cheat sheet with me to be able to buy up to $900 worth of bulk fuel. That's amazing for your tank. I know it's not going to probably fill it this year, but it's a great start to the process. We also can pay those back bills in the sense of if you've got a disconnect, it's $175 for a regulated utility company. But for some of our areas, it can be $750 for an unregulated.
Oh, that includes Dover, I believe.
That does include Dover. It includes the City of Dover Carroll Co-op.
Yes.
We see a lot of the Guernsey Muskingum. Any of those programs. We also can help with assistance to fix a heating unit. If your furnace is broken, we can't fix it. That is not my staff. Trust me, you don't want me coming out to fix your furnace by any means. But we have some vendors that we utilize that we can add dollars to help cover the cost. It's only $500, but many times if it's a minor repair, that will cover it.
Yeah.
But we also can work with other programs and other agencies to maybe help find that copay that's needed to get everything working and functioning as we go into 2023 so that you stay warm. Because we all know January, February, March are our cold months anymore.
And we've had enough illness going around. We don't need to add to it with cold temperatures at home.
Exactly.
So Winter Crisis is still available. Is that one of those where the money might run out?
It definitely could. We have never ran out. I can request more funds. We have not, but it could. Yeah. So the sooner the better you apply. Also, it requires an actual interview or an appointment with my staff. So as everywhere, the holiday season's around. We're closed a couple days. We, of course, have staff that are having sickness as well. It's going to take time to get an appointment to get that interview.
Once they have that appointment, are there documents and things that need to be gathered to bring in? Because that's usually the sticking point.
It is. So what we try to do is when you drop off your paperwork in advance, we will go down through and we'll make sure that we have everything. We'll give you a list of what we still need. We actually try to get all that before the interview. Okay. That way, you can email it to our offices. You can fax it. You can drop it off. Anything. We'll help make copies of the things we need. The biggest thing that we need is always that income for the last 30 days or for the last year for everyone who's of 18 years or older in your household, which a household is anyone who lives under your roof. So anyone who's using that same electric source or heating source, we're going to need that. We need social security numbers for all the people in the household. We also will take birth certificates for that. We need the most recent electric or gas bill with a disconnection notice if we're using Winter Crisis because you're in disconnect. Yeah. And really, those are the main pieces of paper that you can go ahead and gather and drop off with that application.
So that's Winter Crisis. Now, that sounds like it's related to HEAP, and I think we're more, that's been around a lot longer. Home Energy Assistance Program. That's also kind of in the ongoing state, right?
It is. What we try to do is when you come in for Winter Crisis, we're going to go ahead and make sure you have your HEAP application processed and ready
Okay.
to go. Because really, if you come in for winter crisis and you're in that emergency, winter crisis is going to pay that one time, real quick, fix it, let's get it turned on. With HEAP coming in then as a credit on your bill sometime in January, early February, so that now it extends you keeping that heat on throughout till spring, hopefully.
Yeah.
So it is actually the same paperwork. So we can utilize everything that you drop off for winter crisis is pretty much what we need for HEAP. We're going to process those applications simultaneously and get that credit coming in. That being said, you don't have to have winter crisis to get HEAP.
True.
So if you're not in disconnect, you're not having that emergency, oh my gosh, my kids are going to be cold at Christmas, that's okay. We still have HEAP that's available for you. And we can go ahead and get that processed. And come January, February, you get your little Christmas gift of that credit on the bill in some way.
Might not be Christmas Day, but there
No.
you go.
Yes.
That's a good thing to get. So those are available to keep us warm, and it will cover every heating source that you can think of, right?
It does. It will cover everything. It covers your gas, electric. It will go into wood. It goes into coal. It goes into pellets for your fireplace type things. And then, of course, the bulk fuel. So it really covers any way to keep you warm.
All right. Well, that's relying on the fact that you have some place to keep warm. What if the rent payment is behind? What do we do about that?
So one of the programs that we have, thanks to COVID and still getting some of those state and federal dollars down at the moment, is we were awarded another home relief program.
Okay.
So it's a great opportunity. It's got a little bit of nuances from maybe before, but ultimately, if somebody has a past due bill for their rent, it is only for renters. So if you're a renter in our area and you're struggling to make your rent or any of your utility bills, electric, gas, bulk fuel, trash, your water, any of those bills are hard to make. They have to be past due, but they don't have to be in disconnect.
Okay.
So if you're just, you know what, my rent is due January 5th and I'm not going to be able to pay it because I just had to buy Christmas presents, call us. Let's work through the program. Let's see if you're eligible for home relief program. There's an application. It is different than HEAP and winter crisis.
Okay.
There's an application, still requires the same documents in the sense of income and Social Security, those type things. Requires us to work with your landlord. The payments are made directly to your landlord, and we can cover a variety of months of assistance. There is a form that you have to fill out that talks about how you were impacted by COVID. I know we've talked about it many a times here.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been?
Yeah.
It's a checklist. You pick which areas you were impacted by COVID. And depending on which programs you've used, we may be able to pay up to like 18 months worth of rent.
That's a load. Wow.
Back to March 13th of 2020. And I will actually say we just came across a landlord the other day who has been graciously letting tenants in a family live in their home and not pay rent for quite some time. Because he knew the situation.
Yeah.
And so it's wonderful to be able to help those landlords at the same time as helping keep a family in their house.
Yeah, that's double good. And something that none of us can live without, we don't even think about that often, is water. And you have assistance for that.
We do. We always say you never know what tools HARCATUS is going to have until you call them. If you have a water bill that is in disconnect or you're at jeopardy of losing your water service, call us. This can be a homeowner or a renter. Ultimately, we can pay up to $750 towards a water bill and another $750 for a wastewater bill. We don't see them separated very often here in our area. Some of our rural areas will have two different companies that provide those services.
Yeah.
But really, we can do up to $1,500 one time to help keep that water connected. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's vital. Both of those are vital.
It is. It is. And again, that's something that came out of COVID funds because we all learned washing hands and keeping the germs away are huge. And I think we're seeing that again with the flu and everything that's going around this year. The more we can keep people heated and water and roofs over their heads, what a better community we're going to live in.
Yeah, we're going to be all healthier. So now the question is how to make that initial contact. Is there one number? Are there 5 different numbers? How do we get a hold of HARCATUS and do the right thing?
So the easiest way to do is to call 740-922-0933, and you are going to listen to the prompts. There is actually a prompt there for each and every one of our programs, Head Start, Senior Nutrition, the Employment Services, Weatherization, Retired Senior Volunteers, and there's one on there that talks about utility assistance and rent assistance and HEAP and PIP. That's the one you're going to want to press for all of my programs that I've talked about today. But that's going to then give you the phone numbers for Carrollton, Harrison, and Tusk County. Tusk County is going to be where you're calling in. It's right there. They're going to answer the phone. They're going to talk to you and hopefully be able to guide you in the right direction. If you are tech savvy, our website is wonderful.
Yeah.
If you go to harcatus.org and under the Our Services tab, it lists every one of these programs and it'll give you the links. Many times you can actually start the application online at the state. Feel free. It's not, I don't think it's as easy as calling my staff, but that's just me. It does get it started, and it gives you a place to control your applications as well.
That's good. And when you get ready to walk in, you're on Enola Avenue?
We are actually in Suite A4, right beside Burger King on the Boulevard.
Wow. Follow the smell of Burger King and then go to the HARCATUS. Okay. Well, hey, great. We certainly hope. We want everybody who is eligible to take advantage of these opportunities, right?
We do. And, go on our website, check it out. All of them will have even the income levels. But just to give you an idea, a family of 4 in Tuscarawas County can make up to $48,000 a year and qualify for every one of those services I've listed. And it's not necessarily when you pull that paycheck and you look at the last number, there are so many deductions that maybe can take place. And there's different things that my staff have to count and don't have to count, that if you're anywhere in that ballpark, you really should call in and let them calculate that income to see if you're eligible.
All right, will do. Well, thank you. Thanks for bringing Christmas cheer to the studio today.
You're welcome. Have a great holiday.
You too. Thanks so much. That is the Community Services Director of HARCATUS, JoEllen Sanders, our guest this morning on the 8:30 High Beam here on the BT Morning Show.